Okay. Hey guys, good morning. It's early, very early. I don't expect I'll have any viewers this early, but I'm trying to knock out these Tarotscopes for the month of October. So I want to try and get them done before the end of the month. So I'm going to try and get at least half of them done today. This is the first group. I am going to go by groups. We are doing them quick and dirty as we did last month. Sorry and apologies to the fire signs for not getting their readings done, but the month got away from me. Trying to avoid that happening again. I don't know, my schedule's been different and more busy, more stressful, things like that. So this is the monthly forecast for all of the air signs. For Libra, we're going to start off with Libra, then we're going to go into Aquarius, and then the last one will be Gemini. We're working our way through the zodiac, and we are now in Libra season. So happy birthday to my Libras. What else was I going to say? This is a broad spectrum reading for, anybody with sun, moon, or rising in Libra, or heavily placed planets in Libra. So if you have, 3 or more planets in the sign of Libra, you may want to watch this video. It could give you indication as to what sort of, experiences or energies that you might be dealing with during the month of October, okay? And if you're here crosswalking on behalf of a Libra, that's completely fine. Just for those of you that tune into the monthly horoscope or Tarotscope, just so you know, I do have a daily forecast that goes up every day. In there, in the drop-down menu of all of those videos, the dailies is all of my information, how to get in touch with me, if you want a private reading, all of that sort of stuff. So if any of this resonates with you in your life, that's great, use it. If it doesn't, that's okay too. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing anything wrong. It just might mean that you are working, on something different at this time. Good morning, Creator. How are you? I didn't think anybody would be here, but nice to see you and thank you for the comment. All right, so let's see what's going on with my Libras. I did change decks this month, guys. I decided because I'm going to do this on a flat surface because I changed computers and the camera configuration has changed. Because I'm doing this on a flat surface, I'm just going to use the standard Rider-Waite deck. That way, thieves that steal deck art. This is a pretty common deck. It's been around for ages. I don't really want to be laying out flat images of independent artists' work and having it get lifted. That makes sense. So, all right, let's see what's going on with my Libras. What do they need to know for the month of October? So I'm just going to lay these out very quickly. Oh, kicking off with Aquarius energy right from the beginning. I love it. That's my favorite card of the deck. 10 of Wands in the foundation. 7 of Pentacles in the spirit. And in the outside influences, we have the card of Strength. And we have the 9 of Cups. Wow, Libra. No playing. Going into your birthday month with the star, that being Aquarian energy, it's definitely your sister air sign energy. It is major arcana. I would expect October to be quite peaceful. You should feel very much in alignment to the month of October and what's going on around you. You might even have a slight, this is not necessarily a star meaning, but it's giving me a little bit of individualized vibes in the sense of like pulling back a little bit, maybe not necessarily being the most social or outwardly extroverted person this month, but you're okay with that. There's definitely this peace that comes with the star. There's this ability to sort of shine in who we are, but not necessarily need accolades, right? We're not like trying to steal the spotlight. We sort of have our own spotlight that we generate from within, if that makes any sense. There's a calm, there's a peace, there's just a general well-being that has to do with the star, that I really love this as your center, right? Down in the bottom, 10 of Wands speaks to, as far as the foundation is, it's like putting in hard work at every level of our being, right? Completing tasks, finishing up things that maybe were pushing us or challenging us in ways, either physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually, that We can finally like sort of look at it as a job well done, right? Where we've worked really hard, we've we saw where we needed to get to, and with the star being in the center, we even actually got there, right? We pushed ourselves maybe a little bit further, pushed our boundaries a little bit more. Thank you, Ann English, for sharing and liking. I didn't even know you guys were up this morning. um, but pushing ourselves to such a degree, working really hard towards what we want, and we see this hard work also not only in the Ten of Wands, but we see it reflected very much in the patience of the Seven of Pentacles, right? This is about, to me, in the spirit space, this is the spirit reminding us to not only stay grounded and connected to our physical well-being and the work that we put in, but also to take appreciation, to be mindful of like who we are, what we do, and to be appreciative of it, right? When I look at all three of these cards together, this is very much about Libra understanding what Libra does, how well they do it, how much time and energy and work is put in, and also um, the true like awareness of that, right? At a very, I would say, deep level, right? Even the more subtle levels kick in here. Sorry, it's early. I haven't had enough coffee. But with the star there, we're really, I feel like it feels like we are very appreciative of ourselves in a way, and not in like a braggarty kind of show-offy way. It's more like we're really in tune with who we are, where we're at, how we're thinking, how we're working, the jobs that we have done. And I mean, like when I say jobs, I'm not talking about just career jobs. I'm talking about, tasks at hand as far as relationships are concerned, or how we handled situations that maybe were difficult for us. We did a good job. We saw our way through it. We got to an ending with it. We made the finish line, so to speak, no matter how deeply it kind of challenged us, right? Because this being a Wands card speaks to the element of spirit. So it says to me that some of the challenges you guys have dealt with have been like deep or have affected you in maybe say more profound ways, but it's affected you for the more positive, even though it was hard to get there or the work was challenging. Now where our spirit's at is it's saying, just a few more steps, Libra, keep at it. It should be a little bit easier because this gentleman is resting on his hoe, and we love to rest on a hoe every once in a while, don't we, Libra? I'm sorry I had to go there. But he's looking at his work, he's seeing the fruits of his labor. It may not be quite yet time to pull in those fruits or to like cash in on our efforts, but we're cashing in somewhat in this center of the star, right? This peace and this tranquility that comes with the star, that's some of the cash in. But there's still more to be had, is the feeling that I'm getting. With a little bit more, patience, and a little bit keeping our attention on the task at hand is going to bring us about more blessings, I believe. And the reason why I feel that is because we have not only the Nine of Cups, which is a very satisfied sort of wishes, dreams come true energy coming at us from outside, but we also have the Strength card, which is Leo energy, which is also fire, which is very complementary to us, right? So to me, we have this beautiful sort of mix of air and fire, and then we have earth and water kind of balancing each other out. So I feel like everything is sort of represented this month for us, just as a elemental perspective. It feels strength to me. I don't get a bad feeling from this. Sometimes when strength will come up, I think, uh-oh, what's going to happen? What do we need to be strong for? But to me, this just feels very solid. It feels very opportunities to show our how balanced we actually are when we see the woman and the lion kind of working together, loving each other, compassionate with each other, taking care of each other. And then we have the Nine of Cups on the other side, which is emotional sort of well-being, feeling content with oneself. It kind of also mirrors the star image in the center, right? Stars a little bit more quiet or subtle or peaceful, but we're bringing in more opportunities through like vibrating at this star energy. It's like, how do I want to say this? It's almost like we are automatically, it's not like we're expecting it, but because we're vibrating at this sort of pure understanding and acceptance of who we are, our environment wants to give us more of the good that we deserve. And so both of these cards to me feel like there's support in the Strength card, right? But there's also sort of this emotional well-being that's coming through in the Nine of Cups. So ideally, this should be a beautifully balanced month for my Libras. That's how I feel. Ultimately, right? It is your birthday season, so that might be part of this, where the focus might be a little bit more on you this month. But there's also this sort of, I don't know, this vibe of job well done, even though we're continuing to work forward. But I feel like the pressures have let up a little bit. There's a little bit more of an ease and a little bit more of an enjoyment that's going to take place in this month that may be personal to us, okay? So, and then the next card or your outcome is the Knight of Wands. So, Knight of Wands is fire. I'm not bothered by that whatsoever. I think it's a nice card to have. It is about sort of charging into November, being a little bit maybe inspired, excited, impulsive even. Nights to me are always about doing service, doing the right thing for the right reasons. Sometimes the Knight of Wands can, lack a little bit of staying power, but I feel like there's an excitement to this. I feel like the peace that we feel and the alignment that we feel in the month of October, we're ready to put into action by November, right? Decisions may very well get made in the month of October that allow us to start to take action by November. We're no longer maybe being asked to wait or to hold or to pause or to be patient as we are being in the month of October. Does that make sense? So expect maybe a leap forward or a jump towards either maybe the next project or the next thing that we desire, the next thing that we want to sort of create. And whatever this creation is, I kind of get a feeling, because we have the Knight of Wands here and the Ten of Wands down here in the foundation, this might be something we've been working at for a while. We may be ending a chapter in the sense of whatever we've been working towards, but we're not quite done yet. Like, say, as an example, if my Libras are working on a new business idea, we've met some of the challenges in the past. We've reached the plateau. Now it's the next step and the next step and the next step. Now, do I think steps are happening in the month of October? I don't necessarily get that feeling with the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is more about maintaining the status quo and staying grounded and focused, keeping our attention on what's, appropriate or right for our goals. But the Knight of Wands kicks in at the end of the month and is ready to charge after it and make it happen. Does that make sense? So be prepared to see action, movement, change beginning at the end of the month, moving you in a positive direction towards what it is that you do desire. Okay? That is my Libra reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know that these are quick and dirty, but this is the way that we have to be right now, just with my schedule as it is. Let's get into my Aquarius readings. And again, just to say what I've said earlier, this reading is for anybody with Sun, Moon, and Rising in Aquarius or heavily placed planets. What does Aquarius need to know? So for Aquarius' center, we have the Hanged Man. Interesting. Feeling a bit stuck, Aquarius? We have the Wheel of Fortune. My air signs are kind of feeling it this month. We have the Eight of Cups in the Spirit Soul space. We have the World. Wow. We have the Knight of Swords. Interesting. All right, so for my Aquarians, the Hanged Man is, to me, it's normally about getting not necessarily stuck, but having to be in a certain place in our life, in our mind, in our development, in our focus, where we need to understand something. We need to figure it out. We need to sort of make sense of it all. Once we sort of make sense of it, we're then enlightened to a degree, or our awareness changes, and then we're able to move forward, right? And I do feel like there is forward movement. And part of the reason why I say that is because we have not only the Knight of Swords, but we also have the Eight of Cups, which indicates a sort of movement. Um, Actually, this feels a little bit similar to what I was just saying for Libra, in a sense, right? Libra didn't feel stuck to me. Libra was where they wanted to be, where this feels to me like Aquarians might be wanting to move forward, wanting to take action, wanting to get things done, and they can't. There's something here that they need to look at. There's something that's possibly impactful and emotional that they don't necessarily want to see or have to deal with. Maybe my Aquarians don't want to slow their roll right now, but they're being forced to in some way. They're being challenged to really look at what's going on, how they're feeling, what's going on for them, possibly emotionally or even in their intuition, that is forcing them to look at it. It's not necessarily a bad thing either, but Aquarius might want to keep it more surface level this month, not get too deep, that sort of a thing. If you struggle against it, it's only going to exacerbate it or make it worse, is my feeling. Now, in the foundation, you have the Wheel of Fortune, which I love this as the foundation card because it really gives me this sense of anything can happen for my Aquariuses. It's really a matter of how and when you choose to sort of ease into whatever you're trying to avoid and learn from it, right? Once you learn from it, the door opens or the wheel begins to turn again. But right now, I feel like it may be on pause. I do feel like with these two cards here, there's a huge transition that's happening, or this period is a huge transition. It's something that you set up from the past. It's some sort of decision or desire that was created from the past that you've been maybe, I don't know if you're even consciously working towards it, but it's like the Wheel of Fortune is working in the background and has been for a while to position you in a place where you can have it, right? And you might not understand that, and that might be why you're struggling against it, right? So pay attention to that. Up in the spirit space, we have the Eight of Cups, which cups is that water element and emotions. The Eight of Cups is about walking away, departing from a situation, throwing in the towel in a sense, not necessarily in a bad way. It's not a quitter card. It's about doing the right thing, being the adult in the situation, maybe salvaging yourself before you get any further destroyed by a situation or a relationship or something that's taking its toll on you, right? Listening again to the intuition of the moon. It's important that we sort of act or what's the word? Take action when it feels correct, when it feels right, right? But there's something going on in the center where it's not quite there. So we might find ourselves struggling against it during the month of October. Now, on the outside influences, this to me feels like it's interesting. We have the Wheel of Fortune here and we have the completion of the world here. It's like this positive celebratory assimilation of everything that we've learned, but we have to learn it first. We have to get that enlightenment that is contained in the Hanged Man, right? And if we're not able to do that, then we won't be able to sort of reap the benefits of the what the world has to offer us, right? And the world is a positive, abundant sort of graduation card, right? It says that we've learned what we needed to, we've assimilated the knowledge, and we're able to move forward. And there, like I said, there is forward movement here with this Eight of Cups, but it comes at an emotional cost. It comes at maybe at a harsh reality or realization that we don't necessarily want to look at or see right now, but it's time that we do so at some point during this month. The Knight of Swords is about being more analytical. This is an outside influence. This could be an air sign friend of ours, right? This is complementary to the energy of Aquarius, but sometimes the Knight can also be a little bit get ahead of himself, right? We could be jumping to conclusions, making assumptions. Be careful of that. Be mindful of that in our thoughts and in our communication. Ideally, the Knight is going to do things more analytically. So we may want to look at some of the situations going on around us with a more of an analytical nature, which is, intrinsic to Aquarius. But we also want to make sure that we're seeing everything as it is and not as we perceive it, if that makes sense. So be careful because there's an emotionality to the Eight of Cups and to the Hanged Man, which is Piscean energy. So we want to clock our feelings rather than be aloof, rather than be detached. These are things that I kind of see Aquarius as being good at doing, and it's sort of your skill set. But there's something going on here where we need to probably process at a feeling level that we might be avoiding or trying to avoid. The Knight of Swords could indicate another Aquarian, a Libra, or a Gemini helping us through this time. But sometimes with the Knight of Swords, I get this feeling that he rushes in so quickly, he might miss some of the finer details or some of the smaller aspects of what could be going on. And when we have the Hanged Man in the center, we don't necessarily want that. We need the full enlightenment. We need the full awareness of whatever it is that we're challenged by this month. So allow that challenge to sort of present itself to you. Sit with that challenge. Don't fear it. You'll be able to feel your way through it and know when it is time to sort of release or depart from that challenge, to no longer engage in it. Wherever that challenge presents itself to you, if it's a new job, if it's a relationship, wherever that challenge is, you're going to intuitively and emotionally know when it's time to sort of be the adult, do the right thing, and either step away or move forward. Sort of in a state of disengagement with whatever it was that was giving you issue or challenging you. To me, though, that ultimately this is within my Aquarians, though. It's like sort of your decision to make. It's your decision to sort of come to terms with. You get to choose when and how you come to terms with it and how quickly. And all of this, whatever this change is, whatever this realization is, this learning, you are ultimately, it's moving you forward in a way that, to me, with the Wheel of Fortune down here, feels like it has bigger impacts than we realize. It has bigger, with the world too, it has bigger opportunity to it than we may understand or are able to see right now. Okay, so just be aware of that as you're moving through this month. Now, for the outcome for my Aquarians, we have the Sun. Beautiful, positive, lovely card. November should be a wonderful month heading into November. Feeling complete, feeling whole, feeling energized again, not feeling stuck, not feeling weighed down, not feeling like emotionally challenged in any way, shape, or form. So the work that we do in October, Aquarius, is going to be important to our well-being in November. And we're certainly going to feel it by the end of October with that Sun there. The Sun is always an affirmative, positive card. There's an energy to it. There's an excitement to it. There's a ability to sort of, affect others through it. If you guys are this Sun, right, you're emanating that energy, that vibe, that excitement that hopefully others will see or pick up on or be attracted to. Okay, so just be aware of that. The Sun is also associated with Leo to me. So Leo is very much a sort of an energy that appreciates attention, right? And so we might just find ourselves right now in the month of October, we may not feel like we're that self-assured or at ease, comfortable with ourselves. That will go away by the end of October, and we will feel like we're able to sort of be in our center and be excited about either the work that we've done, the choices that we've made, the decisions that we're challenged by, right? We should feel self-assured and positive about those, having made the right decisions in the month of October, okay? That is your Aquarius reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave me a question, comment, or a thumbs up on the video, and let's get into Gemini. What do my Gemini do? Again, this is for anybody with Sun, Moon, or Rising in Gemini or heavily placed planets. So Gemini's center is the Four of Pentacles. Holding on tightly on Gemini. Six of Wands. Page of Pentacles. The Empress. Three of Swords. I kind of feel like Gemini is I don't know why, but I get this sort of feeling of beating themselves down in a way, or dimming their own shine in some way, shape, or form. The Four of Pentacles would indicate sort of hiding out, being on guard, keeping one's walls up, being very careful. And I can understand why, because we have this Three of Swords here, which to me would be emotional, like sort of upset or pain of the past, things like that, kind of lurking around, memories maybe popping into Gemini's head. There's some sort of like, I feel like a semblance of distrust going on with my Geminis. And it's interesting to me because the past is good, right? The past was celebratory. The past was like honoring ourselves and understanding what we're good at, not only from ourselves to ourselves, but others honoring us and seeing us also. And I feel like Gemini doesn't feel like you're there anymore. It feels to me like you're trying to get back there. But you don't maybe trust it, or there's some sort of lack, there's something missing, there's something that you need or you can't, you're feeling like you don't have it. The Page of Pentacles also, to me, pages are not necessarily bad cards. They bring sort of along with them new messages, but they also bring up this opportunity to learn, to grow, to study, to evolve. When I see this here, though, sometimes the Page of Pentacles can be a little bit of a little by little card, right? Like just step by step, little by little. And with this Four of Pentacles as your center, these two cards are giving me this indication that Gemini is not really feeling that expansive this month, or if any expansion is taking place, like whether it's expansion financially, if it's expansion emotionally, or in our perceptions, how we view ourselves or the world, there feels to be like those changes, certainly positive changes, are going to be little by little, or beat by beat, right? Like drip by drip. It doesn't necessarily feel like you guys are all out in there to win it, if that makes sense. You are trying to get back to a better place, back to a place where things felt more fulfilling, where you felt more acknowledged or validated, right? You've had it in the past, and for some reason, you're not feeling it or receiving it right now. And if you are receiving it, it's not necessarily coming to you in very obvious ways, is my feeling. Or I almost want to question, like, is Gemini inadvertently not allowing it in? That Four of Pentacles feels a little bit blocked. Not necessarily always the meaning of that card, but to me, it feels a little bit blocked to me. And I think that you guys might be blocking a little bit to protect yourself from something that's emotionally painful. That could be, you guys are such, this is Swords energy, which is your element, right? That air element. But this is usually thoughts and pains of the past, things we can't control, sadnesses, heartache, places where we were wronged. Those things might be up for Gemini in a lot of ways in the month of October, or reminding us of sort of where we've been. And I feel like there could be a conflict between where we want to be, which is when things were good and we were feeling exalted or appreciated, to where things actually are, if that makes sense. And where they are is you guys at the Four of Pentacles, right? Which is like sort of holding on, trying to keep like stable, keep things moving in a practical way, not being too lavish, not being too, impulsive. Page would also indicate that too. But to me, I feel like, are you guys giving yourselves either as much credit as you deserve, or as much freedom as you deserve, as much belief in yourself, or maybe, situations around you that they deserve? Does that make sense? Like, I feel like this sense of distrust with these two cards. Not distrust in ourselves, but distrust in, like, if I open myself up too much, I could either get hurt or it could be trouble. And that's from this Three of Swords. To me, this is indicating that there's some sort of, I don't know, like experiences of the past that could be getting dug up in the month of October or dredged up through some of the experiences that you're having now. And they might feel a little too emotional. They might take you to a thought place that isn't feeling healthy to my Geminis. So you guys are holding on to what you have and being sort of maybe frugal or smart about, how much you engage to keep yourself protected in a way. Ultimately, the driving force here is the Six of Wands, which also is complementary to Gemini's air energy. But it, and it says to me that you guys want to be back somewhere that's good, and that is your goal and what you're working on. But you don't believe yourself to be there. I don't even know if you see it as being possible fully with both of these Pentacles cards, because these feel, although they feel grounded and like, it's weird. I want to say, like, just as an example, it's like, um, to me, this feels like Gemini putting itself on an emotional, spiritual, mental budget, like being very careful about how you think about things or who you engage with or what you do, because stuff feels a little bit, I guess, tenuous, right? Challenging in the month of October. But on the flip side, your other outside influence is the Empress. And this to me feels like she's like working in the background in a much bigger way. She's associated with the planet of Venus, right? Which would be that sort of compassion, love, the beauty of things. Are my Geminis able to see that when they're looking at the world through such a sort of, I don't know, limited view in a way? And right now, maybe that limited view is what you need, because if we open up our view, then we also have to let in this. And this maybe isn't going to serve us at this time. And Gemini knows that. You guys are smart enough to understand that. You know that this could drag you down, slow you down, get you stuck. So I feel like you might be funneling down your experience or what you're engaging in this month in an effort to avoid this, but you might also temper or lessen the gifts that she wants to bring. She's about creativity, nurturing, compassion, love, the beauty in life, being connected to the environment and nature. And she wants to bless Gemini, but I feel like Gemini, and she has in the past certainly, right? There's been times where we felt blessed, but I feel like there's something going on in the outside world that's either drawing up too many negative thoughts, drawing up too many uh, um, uh, emotional memories, that is causing Gemini to be guarded or careful this month. Okay. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think that it's sort of where you're at. And so just be mindful of that. I do feel like if you opened yourself up to all of it, and this is just a feeling that I have, I feel like this isn't as scary as one would think. The key word there is think, Gemini, because you guys are air. And when you open yourself up to all of it, I feel like some of this would get addressed, and then the abundance of what this is or what she represents would roll in and get Gemini back faster to the beauty of the Six of Wands. I hope that makes sense. Let's look at the outcome, and this is the potential outcome. This is the Two of Pentacles. So not a bad card to end on, but it is still about maintaining that balance. It is still about being careful. It is still about sort of, um, how do I want to put this? It's like, I almost feel like Gemini is allowing the outside situations to dictate its response rather than its response dictating the outside situations. Does that make sense? Um, and the Two of Pentacles, it does have a little bit of a, it's not a bad card, but to me, this feels a little bit of a struggling, back and forth. Not quite sure going into November. Are we going to be okay? Will we have enough? Is this enough? Can I make this work? Um, And I feel like these limitations are self-imposed. Now, some of my Geminis, all of this Pentacles energy in here could be about money for you guys or fears around money. But I don't think this is just about money. I feel like this is us limiting our earthbound experience for fear of getting too caught in emotions of the past, pains of the now. Pentacles energy can also be quite stubborn. It can be slow moving. And so I kind of feel like, especially with this Four of Pentacles in the center, is like, are we sticking ourselves in trying to avoid the things that we don't want to feel, see, or think about that could be around us this month? Are we slowing ourselves down and making our journey a little bit more difficult than it needs to be? Because I do feel like the Empress wants to support us and carry us through all of this and gift us with that abundance that she represents. But Gemini doesn't believe it's possible with all of these Pentacles cards, or they don't believe that they deserve it on some level. Or now's not the time, is the feeling that I get. So you could be going into the month of November still feeling not necessarily a lack, but the challenge of needing to maintain and balance everything that's on your plate. So you might find yourself still sort of, I don't want to say struggling. I just feel like you've put up some walls or something, maybe for your own self-preservation. And those very walls, although they protect you from this, they could limit you in how available this is to you also. And this is a very beautiful, wonderfully creative, abundant, compassionate energy that wants to serve you. And in your effort to avoid the pain of the past or the thoughts around the resentments or whatever that's going on and allowing that to potentially, quote unquote, consume you, you very well might be limiting the abundance that is around you and the opportunity that's available to you. You are doing it though with all of this Pentacles energy. I feel like my Geminis are doing it for the right reason. You know, trying to maintain responsibility, stay grounded, be practical, that sort of an energy. But is it really giving you everything that you need? That's my feeling for my Geminis. I hope that makes sense, you guys. That is your forecast for the month of October. Please leave me a question or comment if you enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you guys later. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am going to be back in just a moment to do the water signs, starting with Scorpio, going into Pisces, and then doing Cancer. All right, have a great day, you guys, and I will see you in a little bit. Bye-bye.